Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. Chapter 7, A Mad Tea Party. At a table under a tree in front of the house, the March Hare and the Hatter were having tea. A dormouse was sitting between them, fast asleep, and the other two were resting their elbows on it and talking over its head. The table was large, but the three of them were all crowded together at the corner of it.
No room! No room!
They cried out when they saw Alice coming.
There's plenty of room,
said Alice, and she sat down in a large armchair at one end of the table.
Have some wine,
said the March Hare.
I don't see any wine.
There isn't any.
Then it wasn't very civil of you to offer it.
It wasn't very civil of you to sit down without being invited.
Your hair wants cutting,
said the Hatter. He had been looking at Alice for some time.
You should learn not to make personal remarks. It's very rude.
The Hatter opened his eyes very wide on hearing this. He then took his watch out of his pocket, shaking it every now and then and holding it to his ear.
What day of the month is it?
The 4th.
2 days wrong.
The March Hare took the watch from the Hatter and looked at it gloomily. Then he dipped it into his cup of tea and looked at it again.
What a funny watch. It tells the day of the month and doesn't tell what o'clock it is.
Why should it? Does your watch tell you what year it is?
Of course not. That's because it stays the same year for such a long time.
Which is just the case with mine.
Suppose we change the subject.
The March Hare interrupted.
I vote the young lady tells us a story.
I'm afraid I don't know one.
Then the dormouse shall. Wake up, dormouse.
The dormouse slowly opened his eyes.
I wasn't asleep. I heard every word you fellows were saying.
Tell us a story.
And be quick about it, or you'll be asleep again before it's done.
Once upon a time, there were 3 sisters, and they lived at the bottom of a well.
Why do they live at the bottom of a well?
Take some more tea,
said the March Hare.
I've had nothing yet, so I can't take more.
You mean you can't take less? It's very easy to take more than nothing.
Alice helped herself to some tea and bread and butter, and then she turned to the dormouse and repeated her question.
Why did they live at the bottom of a well?
It was a treacle well.
There's no such thing.
If you can't be civil, you better finish the story yourself.
No, please go on. I won't interrupt again.
The dormouse went on.
And so, these 3 little sisters, they were learning to draw,
I want a clean cup. Let's all move 1 seat over,
interrupted the Hatter. He moved, and the dormouse followed him. The March Hare moved into the dormouse's place, and Alice took the place of the March Hare. Alice did not wish to offend the dormouse again, so she began very cautiously.
But I don't understand. What were they learning to draw?
They were learning to draw
The dormouse yawned and rubbed its eyes.
everything that begins with an M, such as mousetraps and the moon and memory and muchness. Did you ever see a drawing of a muchness?
I don't think...
Then you shouldn't talk,
said the Hatter. This piece of rudeness was more than Alice could bear. She got up in great disgust and walked off.
I'll never go there again. It's the stupidest tea party I ever was at in all my life.